All right. Buccaneers lose to the Detroit Lions. Frustrating loss. We'll get into it. We'll get into giving the Lions credit, which I always like to start off these videos doing. But first, I should just mention the tragic news that happened this week of Doug Martin, the Buccaneers great, passing away. Given this is Buccaneers fan reaction, I'm sure a lot of people who are around my age really remember growing up, just how much fun he was to watch in a really dark era for Buccaneers football. Very sad to see him go, and a lot of players, unfortunately, from the era have passed away. You know, I have a Vincent Jackson jersey in my closet. Very sad. No easy transition to talk about football after something as serious as that. But let's do our best to talk about football. First, let's just give the Lions a lot of credit. This is a really good Lions team. This is a team that might end up, with the Lombardi Trophy when this is all said and done. Do you think they're kind of annoyed that their grand prize would be the Lombardi Trophy if they have to get it, right? With that being the Packers coach? I guess no. I guess you would not be annoyed if you hoist the Lombardi Trophy. You're going to be happy. It could happen. This is a very good Detroit Lions team. Maybe the favorites in the NFC now after this impressive performance. They got blown out by the Chiefs, but the Chiefs are the Chiefs, right? And that wasn't the Lions' best day. This was a really impressive game for the Lions. So let's give them credit first. First things first, the defensive back depth on this team, right? I mean, I'm sitting here watching this. I'm like, man, Rocky Yacin's locking up Mike Evans consistently. Like, Rocky Yacin's playing really good. To put him on other guys, he's locking up those guys. I'm like, man, this is a good, he's playing great. Then he gets hurt. They have another defensive back get hurt, and they're still covering well. I mean, there were plays where I'm watching, and I'm like, that's a pretty good route there by, Ibuka, and the Lions defensive back has him covered all the way. Like, it was, you look at backups don't necessarily have to play poorly, right? They don't have to play like backups. And the Lions backups played very well. So give them a lot of credit first and foremost. Also defensively, Aiden Hutchinson is just such a force. And yes, it's a backup tackle, but the amount of attention he brings to the table, he was the most valuable player for the Lions. And I know it might sound crazy given that he was held off the box score, currently at one tackle. I'm recording this like 2 minutes left. I don't believe he's going to get anything else. The most impressive one tackle performance you will see. He was constantly in the backfield. The Buccaneers had such a game plan to put extra guys on him, which hurt them in the receiving game, right? Because you can double more guys in the receiving game. You have less setup routes, so it's harder for guys to get open down the field. So he was a huge impact player. He had a couple of really nice plays. Also, the running game for the Lions. It's been a long time since we've seen a team just kind of run the ball down the Buccaneers' throat like we saw the Lions be able to do. Jahmyr Gibbs, of obviously that long run, that definitely skews the numbers, but also it was a huge play in the game, right? It skews the numbers because it was a great play. And even that other drive where they just kept running the ball and having success. And then on that fourth down, Todd Bowles, who I thought called a very good game in this one, dials up the perfect play on fourth down to have Logan Hall in the backfield one-on-one to tackle Gibbs. Gibbs breaks the tackle there, gets closer to the first down marker, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown came over to help push him past the first down marker, and they get the first down. I mean, that's impressive stuff by the Detroit Lions. Lions are a very good team. And to be honest, they didn't even have their best day. They got stopped short on a turnover on downs, which could have been points had they converted that. Jared Goff threw an ugly interception, also had a fumble that wasn't really his fault, just kind of bad timing. That kind of helped the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get back in it, but ultimately they did not win this game. Let's talk about the Buccaneers side of the ball. Yes, we have to talk about it. This was tough. This was a bad game. This was a really bad game. And again, I'm not going to use the injury excuse because I don't know what Mike Evans is going to be this year with his injuries and his age. I don't know what Chris Godwin's going to be this year with his injuries and his age. Yes, Luke Gadecki will be back. That will matter. But this team isn't that different from what they're going to be when they're fully healthy at this point. I'm not expecting this team to be a massive jump ahead. And what's frustrating is last year the Buccaneers beat the Eagles and they beat the Lions. This year, they were 6.5-point underdogs entering this game. And I'm thinking, oh, come on, this Buccaneers team is good. No way this should be the case. No, that was too optimistic. This is what's disappointing is this. They didn't feel like they could hang with the Lions in this game. And that's what's just so disappointing. Now, I will say this. Baker Mayfield, if these two teams meet again, is not going to play this poorly. Baker Mayfield was just downright bad in this football game, which I've never said before in a Buccaneers uniform, I don't think. He's had a couple of, he will have his off days, right? He is kind of a bit of a streaky player. But the amount of missed throws in this game was shocking. He's never done that where he's been missing guys left and right all night. To the point where you wonder, is he fully healthy with just how he's constantly missing guys? But that's an excuse to say that he's not. Ultimately, he was as good as the Lions covered. There was also plays that were open, and Mayfield was missing it. And even it's a fourth down. Hey, nothing's open. Just give a guy a chance, and he overthrows it and doesn't even give a guy a chance. And he's not throwing it away to help his stats. He doesn't care about that. It's just a bad throw. When that happens, yeah, and I'll say this too. I didn't love throwing Mike Evans out there. I have hindsight 2020. Both Evans and Igbuka. Ultimately, Evans goes down with an injury, gets concussed, and also hurts his shoulder on the same play. So that's just really bad. It was also Baker's best throw of the night, which should have set up a first down and goal had Evans been healthy on the play, right? Ultimately, though, again, sometimes an injury can actually create a different injury. You're not moving the way you're used to, and you don't protect yourself as well. I don't know if it'd be unfair to speculate that happening here. But ultimately, I just felt like with Evans not at 100%, they were kind of forcing him the ball, and it just wasn't really a move that was working too well. He ends up with no catches on the day. Again, I just felt like the offense looked a little better once he wasn't there because they were able to kind of spread the ball out a little bit. So, yeah, I didn't love that. Not why they lost it, but I didn't love that. I didn't love, I don't know, where do we go from here? Let's talk a positive. I thought Bowles called a very good game. I thought he was able to generate pressure very consistently on Jared Goff, even if Goff ends up with a good statistical day. I thought that they were able to very much limit that, with the exception of a few plays, especially early on. I thought they were able to limit things, generate the turnovers, which is what they needed to have a chance here in this one. This loss is not on Bowles for me at all, in my opinion. You could argue was the 4th down and 4 going forward a bit too aggressive, but I don't think so. I think that's what you got to do in that spot. It sucks. It's a frustrating loss. It's annoying. It feels like I don't know. I'm trying. Where do we go from here? What else is there to say? The defense played for the most part very well. This was a horrible offensive day, and I guess the one thing I would say is you need more consistency getting guys open. That's just what it really comes down to. And I would also say I get why they kind of went away from the ground game, but this was never worse than a 2-score game. You could have ran the ball a little bit more. Again, I don't know. The running game has been a part of this Buccaneers DNA. They only ran the ball 11 times in this one. Baker had 46 passes. That's not a great ratio. I do think you can look at that a little bit. And also, Aiden Hutchinson's such a force. Will run the ball. Get him off there a little bit more. That's the only real thing I would critique. I mean, listen, I don't know how much of this was coaching, but you got to look at that a little bit and say this is not a great day by Grizzard with just not being able to get anything going. There was no adjustments that worked in this game. They got one nice drive at the beginning of the half. Actually, technically 2 nice drives. So it started to look like they were, getting things together with the field goal drive at the end of the half. And then the touchdown drive immediately after. Tej Johnson, the MVP, he made a good play. Cade Otton made some plays in this one. I thought he did very, very good. Cade Otton and Tej Johnson, no notes. Those 2 guys did their job. But then the Lions have that great drive where they run the ball down our throats, and that was kind of it. So, yeah, where do we go from here? Listen, I'll say this. The Buccaneers lost, 38-3 in a game that they went on, in a year they went on to win the Super Bowl in 2020. This season is far from over, and bad games are going to happen. The Lions have gotten blown out twice, even by the Packers, and I think the Lions are a better team than the Packers, and then the Chiefs, right? The Lions were looking at them as potential Super Bowl contenders or favorites in the NFC, and they've had bad losses that have felt like this. But it is really disappointing. Monday night games suck. We're bad at Monday night games. We better not have another Monday night game on the schedule, because we got to stop playing Monday night games. Last year there was that horrible Ravens game where everyone gets hurt. Right now, I just hope Mike Evans is okay. Again, the shoulder and the concussion, that was tough to watch. That's my main thing. Hopefully he's okay. And if he is, you get Luke Gadecki back eventually. Saints next week and then a bye week. So beat the Saints, go into the bye with, what is it? That would be 6-2. 6-2. If you told me we'd go into the bye 6-2 after 8 games, I would have been thrilled. So no guarantee against a divisional opponent, but you have that option. And again, what sucks now is you look at, if we're talking about the 1 seed, which we were talking about entering this week, so we should talk about it a little bit here. You have the Philadelphia Eagles, who they've now that team has the tiebreaker. The Lions, that team has a tiebreaker. The other team I think you look at is the Detroit Lions, just said that, the Green Bay Packers, who the Buccaneers do not play, but this game actually matters for that because it's a shared opponent, and the Packers beat the Lions. So I don't know exactly if that's going to, I haven't looked into that. I don't know if that's exactly going to matter, but that feels like could cost a tiebreaker there. So if you want to get a 1 seed, it's going to be tough, and quite frankly, they're just not playing like a team. They did not play like a team that is going to get the 1 seed, and they've lost to both of the contenders in the NFC they've faced. So last year they beat both contenders, and they got knocked out round 1, though. So shows that doesn't mean everything, and ultimately that's how you have to move forward. 5-2, only a game back from Carolina. It's again, I don't think that those teams are the same, but it's just we're halfway through the season. Things can go wrong. Got to get a bounce back win against the New Orleans Saints. So, okay. I'm going to go watch the end of the Blue Jays Mariners game and also the other football game on right now. Rough night, but I know that sometimes people like these videos as it can be a way to calm things down, make this feel a little better. This is 1 game. It's a frustrating game. It feels like 10 games, but this is 1 game, and no team, other than the Dolphins back, in the 70s, have gone undefeated. So we knew the Buccaneers weren't going to do that. We knew they were going to have a bad loss at some point. Through 7 games, they've beaten everybody except the Eagles and the Lions. That's pretty good. Wish it was a little better though. Just personally do. I don't like how they lost. That's just it. It sucks to lose like this, but hey. That's what happens. We can join the club of teams that have gotten embarrassed by the Detroit Lions. Those are my thoughts. It sucks that the Baker Mayfield MVP thing is like that's taken a massive hit after this game. It just has. Having a bad game like this on a primetime game, like still plenty of season left, but that sucks. I mean, yeah, it's a bad day to have a bad day. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.